How far can they control my mind? Like I got 3 and 4 control my mind.
For that.
Do you think that the Mexican government is kept in the same loop that the United States government with regards to policy on UFOs? Or do you think that the United States government is shutting everybody out?
I think at this moment the Mexican government is ignorant of this phenomenon. I don't think they want to hide it. They don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to handle this. They don't know if they have to go along with the U.S. or what they have to do. I think they are just seriously and honestly ignorant of what is happening. And there is so much in Mexico that they prefer just to keep quiet and not to say anything. Remember what happened when they gave me the video from the military in 2004? You know that the scientists were very mad why they weren't given the evidence to be analyzed, and we know what would happen to that evidence, to be explained in a very funny way, like they did with the UFO at the volcano here in Mexico, when you have an incredible image of a UFO going inside the volcano, and they say, oh, it's a meteorite, or they said, no, it's a galaxy falling, or it's an astronomical phenomenon. Come on, you know? It was so stupid explanation that nobody remembers what they said. But that's the way the scientists act, and unfortunately, since the government don't have experts in this field, they don't know what to do with it. I don't think they are hiding, or they have craft, or they have aliens, or they have secret meetings with the U.S. military. I don't think that happens here. Probably it happened in the past. I don't know. But right now, I don't think so. No, they haven't stopped me. They have allowed me. Again, no, I have a TV show that is on AAA time in Sunday nights in national television in Mexico. You have to believe that if the government had anything to hide, they would pressure the network not to allow me to present all the information that I present. Then I just think they don't know what to do. And as many other people, even in the U.S. government, are ignorant of this phenomenon. They just repeat what everybody says before them.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And you made a very good point. You are a pinnacle. When we lost you for a minute, I was reminding everybody that you were on 60 Minutes, 24 Hours. These are big, major shows that are respected and loved by everybody. And for you to be on primetime television on a major network and presenting the top of the line news, you are always on top of it. You bring the latest sightings, the latest footage, unfettered. Obviously, they're letting you go along with it, which is something I don't think the United States government would allow another journalist to do, although I would hope so. But sadly, it seems that the American journalists, such from CNN and Fox News, don't care. But very sad. But let's go to a news story before we take a few calls for you. This is big to me. Another person made a deathbed confession. This time it was a Lockheed Martin engineer/scientist by the name of Boyd Bushman. And he made this confession before he passed away at the age 78 this summer. And he told that he was well aware of Area 51, well aware of the ETs there, the alien artifacts there. And he presented photos of ETs and craft in his confession or his video. And one of them, I remember the first one that I saw of the extraterrestrial looked to me just like Dr. Jonathan Reed's extraterrestrial. And so it had an inkling of being something truthful. Now, of course, I'm on the fence. I would love to have these pictures verified, but it's a huge story. What do you think of it?
In the first place, I thought this was a hoax because I saw a toy which is very, very similar to the pictures of this man, Boyd Bushman, released. We have to recognize that this man is a scientist, that he has many patents, he's a genius, that he worked with Lockheed Martin. He's not anybody. I mean, he is a big scientist. Why he would make a deathbed testimony or witness or confession when he has this kind of reputation and say a lie? At the beginning I said, well, probably he was senile, probably he didn't realize he is too old to understand. I don't know. Because I was impressed by the image of this toy and the similarity to the pictures that he presented. But then, doing this investigation and considering this case a hoax, I found 3 photographs that were uploaded in YouTube by a man Hutchinson in the 21st of December 2009, which is 5 years ago. And they are the same creature. He said that he had received these photographs from a big man from the aerospace industry.
Yes.
Probably was Bob Bushman. But in this case, you can see the pictures very, very clear. And in 2 of them, you can see the face of the alien in the same position. Probably they were taken with few seconds of difference. But in the second picture, you can clearly see that the creature closes the eye. And you can, if you take both pictures and do movement, you can clearly see the movement of the eye. Then I say, wow, this is just amazing. This is not a toy. And then I compare the size of the head of the creature in these 3 pictures, because you can look the hand of one man, I don't know why it's there, but you can see it, and you can take a look and compare the size of the head. The head is the size of a little boy, probably 11, 12-year-old, and that's the comparison you can make with the hand. It's so much bigger than the toy. Then, at this moment, I cannot tell you, I haven't made up my mind. I think in one case, I say it's too similar to the toy. It has to be the toy. But then again, then you watch the 3 pictures, and you see the movement of the eye, and you see the size of the head, and then you think this has to be real. Then I am 50-50 at this moment. I haven't taken a position on this, but I believe right now, I believe it's a very interesting case. But because again, this is a deathbed confession, then it has to be something else. I mean, we have to believe that a man with these credentials wouldn't jeopardize his memory, his legacy, just to be considered a crazy man or somebody who doesn't know what he's talking about. Then I think there is so much more to learn about this case. I wouldn't close it. I wouldn't tell the people believe it or don't believe it until we find so much more. But again, these pictures, you can find them in the internet, in YouTube, by Hutchinson. I think it's Jim Hutchinson from 2009, and compare them and check the details I'm telling you, and probably you'll see what I mean.
This is exactly why you're such a respected researcher and journalist, because you go above and beyond. Rather than just taking something at face value, you go and look to the past, find something comparable. Then you look at the other side. Could this be a toy? And this is why I admire you. You made a very good point. This man is a scientist. He has a family. And to make a deathbed confession that other people would label as loony, why would he do it? To deface his legacy, and knowing that his family would suffer unless he truly believed it to be true. And based on from what I saw, again, like you said, without more evidence to point us 100% into that direction just by the fact that this gentleman, you could clearly tell, was by his body language, the way he just talked and described things during that interview, he seemed very sincere. But why would someone want to leave the last words of their life as a lie? Nobody would. That's the time they use to set things straight. If they had participated in a hoax or a conspiracy, that's when they would come forward and clear their name so they have a clear conscience before they pass away. So that's why I think deathbed confessions are extremely important. Real quick, Senor Masson, let's take a couple callers that have some questions, and then we'll continue to talk about this real more. Everybody out there, again, 818-923-1713. Please turn down your radio before your call. Wait for your area code to be called. Ask your question, then please hang up and then listen for it on air. Again, 818-923-1713. Now, while we do that, if any call, we're going to continue to keep talking about Boyd Bushman. Now, this reminded me of Bob Lazar, who didn't leave a deathbed confession, obviously, as you know, but to this day, Bob Lazar regrets talking because his reputation has been damaged. And I don't think at all that what he said, that Bob Lazar said, was not accurate. And the reason is, for instance, some people try to poke holes in his story saying, well, how could a C student be an engineer at Los Alamos? Well, here's the real truth. Other people can get C- in high school and then go off to college and do really well. A lot of people, for instance, don't get to that level of education and take it seriously until they get a little older. So those didn't work.
Let me tell you another case. Harold Chacon, this biologist that helped Jonathan Reed to analyze scientifically the creature, and he worked with some of the scientists who were killed. They said, oh, he cannot be a biologist because he was working in a store in a gas station. But then I called Puerto Rico, where he's from, and I found in the Universidad Católica Pontificia de Puerto Rico that he was a brilliant student. He was a tutor for students, and they recommend him very much for any work, because I called to see if this was a trustable man, because I was going to give him a job or something like that. And they say, yeah, well, we are very impressed by him. Because he was working in a gas station then, he couldn't be a biologist. Yeah. And people in the U.S. have to understand, and probably some people know, that when you come from a Latin American country and your profession is not recognized in the U.S., or your university or whatever, your degree is not recognized, anything can happen. And if you are married and you have a family, you have to work wherever you can. And then you cannot say just because he was working in a gas station, he was not a biologist. And we proved that he was. And again, even though there are so many doubts with the Jonathan Reed case, and I have many doubts too, this interview that we made with Harold Chacon proves that the case was absolutely, and I mean absolutely real. A lot of it. I couldn't say if everything, but many things that they said were real. We even went to the place, made some analysis in the field. We brought dirt and plants and things, sealed with security to Mexico, and we took it to a nuclear laboratory, and they found radioactive elements in the samples we brought. It means that something happened in that place, and it means that what Jonathan Reed said about the place probably was real. But then if somebody finds something funny about the case, then people want to discredit the whole thing. And I really think that we, the investigators, have to take the courage and have the courage to go find the evidence or not and say the truth, my dear friend. And it's exactly what happened with Bob Lazar. Again, another scientist who was discredited. He had to abandon his career and everything because what he said about the Area 51. But he's going to be, and I want to invite people to Laughlin I'm going to be there. I think you're going to be there.
Yes.
On the 13th, 14th, 15th of November. And Bob Lazar Bob Lazar is going to be in Phoenix. I'm sorry. Bob Lazar is going to be in Phoenix, not in Laughlin. I'm getting confused. But again, if you want to go to Laughlin, we're going to be there too with Joe.
Yeah, it's going to be an amazing event put on by Paula Harris, who's going to be one of the speakers. She has this amazing contact event that she had with Ricardo. Forgot the last name real quick. It's not in front of me. Stephen Bassett, like we said, Jaime Maussan is going to be there. So many people. Filmmaker Paul Davids, and everybody can see that at Starworks USA. Again, Starworks USA, and the event is called Back to the Future, UFOs, Nostalgia, and Consciousness. It's going to be an amazing 3 days at the Aquarius
and
Hotel.
Bob Lazar will be in the International UFO Congress in Phoenix.
It's amazing that they got him to finally come out of the woodworks and talks. Senor Maussan, we do have a caller, area code 575. Welcome to the show. What's your name?
Hi, this is Arturo. I'm from El Paso, Texas.
Oh, welcome to the show. You have any questions for Senor Maussan?
Yes. Hi, Dr. J. Hola, Jaime. Just had a quick... ¿Cómo está?
Gracias.
I had a quick question. Dr. Jonathan Reed, anything happened to his bracelet? Does he still have it? Did they confiscate it? And will you be coming to El Paso anytime?
Well, let me tell you, the bracelet, the last time I saw the bracelet was the night that we presented on the Mexican television. Supposedly, he took this bracelet to a different hotel where he was staying. He said, I don't know, that they had come from Germany to get a bracelet because originally he had kept the bracelet in Germany before he brought it to Mexico. And after that, he said that they couldn't allow him to put a hand on the bracelet again, and he lost that chance. That's what he says. You know, there are so many things I don't believe. And I am not sure if the bracelet really worked as he and some others say. I never saw it working, I cannot tell you, and I know he lied so many times. Jonathan.
Yeah.
What I think is real are the videos. I think are real. I think the obelisk is real. I think it's over. How you say? Sobreactuado, overactuated, or how you say that?
Sí.
When he recorded the creature in the woods, I think he put so much emotion. That probably, I don't know how real is that. Probably it is, but it is funny to me.
Yeah.
So many other things are real. That I can tell you.
Yeah, I believe it too. Something did happen, but you know, I do believe he faked some of it, because he couldn't capture it on camera, so he had to fake it. And I saw the video of when he put the bracelet on, and I could tell. You know, I worked in TV news for over 12 years, so I know I know editing when I see it. So the part where he puts the bracelet on kind of looks hokey.
Disappear? I don't think so. I didn't convince me.
No, that looked staged. And you're in the TV and newspaper reporting too, so you know exactly what I'm thinking, that it was totally staged. But and
the video with the aliens, especially in the house, in both places, but especially in the house, I still think that was a real video. I still think.
Yes, because the eyes were blinking, and it was trying to fake, or it was trying to not make itself known, but he captured it with a camera. So I do believe that was real. And
me too.
And the other question I had was, will you be attending El Paso anytime soon? I think El Paso had a MUFON, but I'm not really sure anymore.
No, I haven't been invited. When I am invited, I will go, for sure.
Okay.
So far, no.
All right.
to go to Laughlin or to Phoenix. Phoenix is not so far away from you.
Oh, Laughlin. I have family in Laughlin. I could just.
Well, you should come see
Laughlin.
him 2 weeks from this weekend.
Well,
Yeah, actually
that's
next
in
week.
Laughlin.
Next week, yeah.
Yes,
Oh, it's
the
next week.
13th, I'll be there the 13th to the 16th.
13 to 16.
Yeah, strongly
Okay,
suggest, Arturo, if you could make it, it'd be a great thing. Every time Jaime Maussan speaks or has a lecture, it's always one of the best part of any event because he always brings news. No lecture of Jaime's is ever the same, and that's why I love working with him so much and love watching and attending his lectures. So if you go, you'll be blown away.
Oh, exactly. My family watches him when he comes on air and when he be showing and all that. And yeah, I'll see if I can attend if I can get out of work.
Yeah. Well,
But,
do that and make sure you check out tercermilenio.tv if you don't have access to the actual Mexican stations that broadcast his show weekly Sunday nights 6 to 8 p.m. It's Central Time. Great show. Anyway, Arturo, thank you for calling. And do you have any other final questions?
Gracias, Arturo.
Muchas gracias, Jaime. Me gustó hablando con usted hoy. Gracias.
Muchas gracias. Nos vemos pronto. Ojalá que vayas.
Igualmente, ahí nos vemos en Laughlin. Thank you, Dr. J.
No problem. Anytime, Arturo. All right, Senor Maussan, we only have a little under 10 minutes left or so. Go back to reputations. Like we said, Bob Lazar put everything on the line, and to this day, he's still taking heat, and his stories never changed. And when George Knapp uncovered the telephone directory from Los Alamos, and it showed Bob Lazar's extension, which wasn't in the janitor department or anything small like that, and as it showed him as an actual scientist, to me, that was sealing the proof that the government can make your degree disappear, your other things disappear, but little pieces of evidence like that, they can't. And that was, if you can work at Los Alamos, chances are government would hire you to work at a place like Area 51. Then another person, as you know, Colonel Philip Corso. Before he passed away, he wrote that book, and sadly, he didn't get to see it come to fruition. Within 6 months of its publishing, he died. I know he was nearing end of age, but a lot of people try to poke holes in his story. Yet Paul Hellyer, when he was on here last month, said the same thing, that when he read Colonel Corso's book, because he was Defense Minister of Canada, he looked up certain generals and spoke to them and was able to confirm it's true. So despite the small little details that some people found may have been off because maybe his memory was off or whatever, the main gut of the story is true. And we have several of these coming forward, and I think it's whistleblowers like this that are making a difference. What do you think we can do with Boyd Bushman's information, or the fact that Bob Lazar spoke? Probably Area 51 wouldn't be acknowledged with now. Do you think we're going to get to disclosure anytime soon using pieces of evidence such as deathbed confessions like this? Or what do you think is going to be the catalyst for us to finally get to the truth?
Well, it's very difficult because after an evidence is presented, when the evidence is important, you are going to see the evidence being destroyed, attacked. They are going to try to discredit the witness, the messenger, and that creates doubts in many people all the time. And that is why it's always very, very difficult. I mean, we have to recognize that the debunkers, the disinformators, the people who are creating confusion have been very successful, because so many people don't believe in this phenomenon because of them, and then what we can do is continue presenting this evidence, because you just need one to prove that the whole thing is real. And right now with Bushman, I think we have to investigate these new pictures that I'm telling you, and try to find more about the toy, and try to find the size of the toy and make comparisons and try to find the truth around this case. I think many people, because this is a deathbed confession, even though there is a toy, and even though there is clear that the case is probably a hoax, many people still believe in it because they believe more in the reputation of a man who, through his life, demonstrated to be a scientist, a real scientist, an honest man, a man who made his path through this life with doing or contributing by doing things. Then you cannot just destroy it because of whatever reason. Then we, the investigators, have to continue investigating everything he said and finding the evidence and comparing the evidence. And time will tell at the end. You know, if there is another case where we have something similar, especially this kind of creature, then we will be able to prove completely. Sometimes when something comes out, it's very difficult, and you have to wait. You have to keep the evidence for better times. And sometimes that better times come, and then you have a second evidence, and very similar, and you can prove that both were real.
Third